what we do. Okay, I'm a massive believer and passionate about boots on the ground in franchising. Let's look at the franchise model: brand, system, support, and agreement. That is the business format franchising model. And the one area for me that highlights more than anything else is the support element. It's the reason people go into franchising. Look, it's the reason I went into franchising. I started my life at the British Franchise Association as Deputy Director General, and then I left and I bought a driver which I ran for 8 years. But it was the support element that really stood out for me. Everything else potentially arguably you can get on your own, but come hell or high water, any situation you're faced with as a small business, to have that support element is a very, very powerful tool and a very, very powerful draw. And this was really brought home to me, how important the support function is. My first day opening my office, my driver hire recruitment office, these two guys turned up at my office door. And I didn't know who they were. They let themselves in, and they sat down at their desks and they started to make phone calls. They started to call my clients. They started to do some marketing for me, and they started to book appointments for me as well. And I thought, wow, this is fantastic. I don't even know these guys, but they've come into my business and they're helping me from day one. And that was the field support that we had, which was excellent. Now, I'm passionate about franchising support, and I think it's important to say, I think there's a bit of a myth that goes around. I call it the F myth. That's not an expletive, the F. It's basically, look, why do we get into franchising? Somebody comes and knocks on us and says, hey, look, would you like to grow your business using somebody else's money? Oh, that sounds interesting. And also, did you know that if you run a franchise, you don't have to employ anybody? You can run a lean head office, employ nobody at all, and it's the franchisees that employ all the staff. And for me, that's the biggest myth and the biggest anomaly in franchising today. And I put that little quote on there that I've used throughout all my life, but sometimes it does describe what people think that franchising is all about. You eat like a bird, but shit like an elephant. Apologies for the bad language, but that's a million miles away from good franchising. And to be successful, you need to have that that infrastructure of support in place, because good support is auto-catalytic. Once the euphoria of selling the franchise has worn off and the franchise fee gets absorbed in all the aspects of taking that person on board, you've got people that you're going to be having at least a 5-year business relationship with. And these individuals are going to need to be supported, but equally they need to be driven as well. And good franchise support for me is auto-catalytic. It's growth for the franchisee. So their unit economics are excellent. They're happy franchisees, and they provide good validation. What does good validation mean? Well, it means that you're going to recruit more franchisees as well. Your franchise recruitment process becomes a lot easier because you've got that excellent validation process. And if you can grow your network through franchisee recruitment, your enterprise value is going to grow as well. So really, that's how I see franchising support, and that's why I position it as so important. I think the profile of franchisee support has certainly changed over the years, certainly since I first joined the franchise community 20 years ago. What did franchise support mean? Well, it was some guy that went around with a clipboard and a pencil and made sure that you had the right bog roll, your brand looks right, and everything else, and you were conforming. Well, modern day franchise support, boots on the ground, franchisee support now is all about, driving franchisee performance. And Nick's going to be talking a lot more about this, I know. But it's certainly evolving, and the brands that are winning are the ones that are recruiting and investing in their boots on the ground, the ones that are recruiting and investing in their franchisee support. These are, the franchisee support profile now is about a business performance manager, somebody who goes in, almost works like a non-executive director to the franchisee, but is continually driving and supporting them. Yes, making sure they're doing things properly, but really helping them drive their business. And if they drive their business, then obviously the franchisor is going to benefit from their increased management service fee as well. And just to put some profiles, I work with networks that have over 100 plus franchisees, and their ratio of support staff to franchisees is about 1 in 20. You know, they've got regional managers that have a manageable number of franchisees that they look after. I also work with some very new franchisors as well, who really want to get their boots on the ground as soon as possible. So even when they're working with consultants, for example, they have somebody on the inside who's building the franchise from the inside, working hand in hand with their consultants. And we've seen that work really well, haven't we, Julie, from some of the projects we've been working on together.
Yeah, we have indeed.
Excellent. So when do you bring in the talent? Well, for me, as soon as possible. Obviously, you've got, you know, you need to be able to afford it. But equally, just remember what the franchisees are buying into. They're committed to business format franchising, and the support element is a vital ingredient. It's part of their expectation. It's what's going to make them successful, and what's going to help them, you know, be happy franchisees, have really good, strong franchisee economics, and provide excellent validation for your franchise for anybody new coming into it.